You've heard the famous quote, "Well-behaved women seldom make history," but then behavior is in the eye of the beholder. In 1950, when convention tried to tell them their place was in the home, 13 women, daring greatly and dead set on creating a golf league of their own, instead hit the road. Barnstorming coast to coast as the newly formed Ladies Professional Golf Association, they helped put female sports on the map. Today, seeing what the LPGA has become since those founders brought it to life some 70 years ago is believing. In the shadow of the Big Apple, with the pioneers perched in a front row seat, today's best have gathered to say thanks in word and deed, fully cognizant of the legacy they've been left, trying to carve out a piece of history for themselves. Welcome to the Cognizant Founders Cup. NBC Sports and the LPGA Tour proudly present the season-long race to the CME Globe. From West Caldwell, New Jersey, it's live final round coverage of the Cognizant Founders Cup. This event honoring the greats who started this tour began a decade ago in the Phoenix area, and this year for the first time here in the metropolitan New York area, Mountain Ridge Country Club, a Donald Ross design, redesigned by Ron Pritchard, and we honor the greats who made this tour possible. Shirley Spork, one of those 13 founders, has been here all week. 3 new pioneers being celebrated and recognized this week as well. 13. The number under par Jin Young Ko was when she started this final round. Now she leads it at 15 under by 5. Lindsay Weaver getting chased, and Karen Stupples watching.
And that's from 160. Tough hole location, just clinging on that left side. Trying to get it chased back, but
Lindsay Weaver, 84th. Race to the CME Globe, 11.
B6 had a nice approach in here. This is to get the 9 under par. It's just outside, and very subtle breaks in a lot of these hole locations as Jin Young Ko makes her way around to the 10th tee, past the founders. Abe Zaharis, one of the 13 founders there with the signs along the cart path. Let's go to 10.
And Nelly Corta, world number 1.
no, this is from 122, so big difference with the distance in drive between her and Lindsay Weaver, and you have a shorter club in your hands, you're able to do some magic with it.
That to get to 8 under and into a tie for 5th. And back on the tee, leading it by 5, Jin Young Ko.
The international flags by the putting green will show you that the wind, the cold, brisk wind, is blowing from the right. Maybe a little help. Gentle little dog leg left, and well, this is going to hit the center line.
In the bunker off the tee at 9, had to pitch out, made a 15-footer to save her par and stay bogey-free. She's 2 under on a round today, chasing some Annika Sorenstam history. Take a look at what Jin Young has done as she has a little chocolate milk here. Just after noon, Jin Young with 13 straight rounds in the 60s. A round in the 60s on this par 71 today, and she would tie Annika Sorenstam for the longest streak in the 71 years of the LPGA Tour. Lindsay Weaver, long birdie putt at the 10th.
It is, and it's back uphill. And she walked halfway along the line just to get a good feel for what it does, because it's going to break one way, then back the other. And I think that's a pretty consistent result there. Nice easy par.
Welcome to West Caldwell, New Jersey, the Cognizant
courses, and played really, really smart golf and executed to perfection.
Jessica Corta to get to 10 under. Jessica is 3 under on her round today. Here's Nelly from about 3.5 feet. She has struggled on the greens this week. Not there. .96 putts through 3 rounds coming into the final round. For Nelly, the world number 1, Jin Young number 2.
Caroline Masson, second to the 11. Just trying to figure out the breeze here.
It's a bit gusty out there, Tom. More than, I mean, the first 2 days there was absolutely no wind, and then yesterday it picked up a bit, but today it's cold. Players probably needing to take another club. Ball won't fly quite as far. A little bit more guesswork, so to speak, in club selection today.
Focusing on the race to the CME Globe. There are 2 more events after this one before the CME Group Tour Championship. You have to be inside the top 60 the week before the CME Group Tour Championship to play in it. And that is really good. And you could see from the projection that Caroline Masson starting the week at 70th and projected right now to move to 49th. Of course, still 2 more events to go, so not guaranteed to be inside that top 60 following the Pelican Women's Championship, but this could really help her chances.
Playing in the final group with Jin Young Ko are Elizabeth Zoko and this woman, the 20-year-old Yuka Sasso. Yuka is 2 over
should help just a little from the line.
around today. Jerry Foltz with his final group.
Yeah, speaking with Karen Stupples after her round yesterday, she said she just really wanted to get off to a better start than the event that basically.
Just a little right, you'll be good.
Well, the event that accelerated the path of her career, winning the U.S. Open. Not a great start. She looks a little dejected. Just a pitching wedge. Trying to draw it in. This is just a little right, but getting some work.
There's the spin you were saying you have to control.
Yeah, it's just with the soft greens, when you have a wedge in your hand, the ridges are so severe around these greens that you have to control your spin a little bit better than that if you want to get it close.
330 is touch of hell.
98.
Even if it lands 105, it's going to be fine.
Okay. Just under 100 then? 100? Just like 50, so it's going to be lower, but that's fine.
If you like just under, I like that too.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Trust that.
27-year-old from the Chicagoland area in her 3rd year on the LPGA Tour, Elizabeth Zoko.
Very fast player as well. Playing this shot about 11 yards shorter than the actual yardage. That's needs a bounce, so it gets it.
Okay.
What a great shot. And you saw she, instead of taking more of a full swing, Jerry, a little bit more of a controlled 3/4 shot and not have too much spin on the ball.
Speaking of control, there's Jin Young with Dave Brooker getting the umbrella out.
Yeah, we have really light rain forecast off and on for the entire day. It's just kind of a nuisance rain. It's nothing that's going to affect play in any way. Sandwich here for Jin Young. And we do that weekly feature at National Car Rental, Look Who's in Control, where we could just put her picture by it. Most weeks, always in control. It's a nice little draw, which she doesn't hit very often.
Not that she needs it, but she'll get a read on that birdie putt. Leading by 5 to 13.
Tee moved up again today, but it's on the front sort of 3rd of the green, and there's not that much room. Where's this gone? Right, didn't want to go too far. It's in the correct sort of 3rd of the green, which is coming across the putting surface does not make it easy at that 13th. Jin Young Ko with a 5-shot lead.
Hello, I'm Brian Humphreys, the Chief Executive Officer of Cognizant, and I'm delighted to welcome you to the inaugural Cognizant Founders Cup. As a Fortune 200 company and a global technology services leader, Cognizant is dedicated to driving diversity and inclusion across our organization of more than 300,000 associates. That's why we love partnering with the LPGA, which has done so much to make golf more diverse and accessible, and shares our commitment to creating conditions for everyone to thrive. We look forward to honoring the LPGA founders for their trailblazing efforts to change the face of golf. We also look forward to celebrating the next generation of golfers who are benefiting from girls' golf. This program provides a welcoming environment for girls to learn the game, along with life skills like confidence and perseverance. At Cognizant, we believe in opportunity, equity, and access for all in every aspect of life, and that includes advancing inclusion in technology. I want to offer a huge thank you to the LPGA, the Mountain Ridge Country Club, and all the players, volunteers, and fans who have made this great tournament possible. You're about to watch some of the world's best to exemplify what it means to keep elevating your game. I hope you have a great time, and thank you for watching.
Thank you to Cognizant. Jin Young Ko leading it by 5. This for birdie at 10.
Just a little bit up the hill, and she did get a good read from Yuka Sasso's putt, which missed.
Are we more surprised at this point when they don't go in? 11.
Let's check in with Lexi Thompson. This is for par. She had a long birdie putt, which she didn't quite get the speed right on. Even for the day, as Lexi hasn't really managed to get anything going this weekend. And that is going to be a bogey, her 3rd bogey of the day. And that'll push her outside of the top 10. Switch to the claw grip, but maybe not quite working with the putter like she would have hoped this weekend.
Elizabeth Zoko after a tremendous approach to 10 for birdie.
Wasted no time lining this up to get it back to even for the day.
Coming off a 65 yesterday that thrust her into this final group. 11.
Caroline Masson after that really nice approach. Just to get it to 3 under for the round. Yeah, good playing. And looking for her best finish of the season. She did post top 5 at the Marathon LPGA Classic, that rained shortened week there in the Toledo area, and she could better that position here. She is moved up into a tie for 2nd. Over at the 13th, this is Jessica Corta for a birdie. This has proved to be one of the trickiest greens, I think, Morgan.
And I think this putt right here is going to have a significant amount of break right to left.
Good try. But anything from where the camera is on this side of the hole going towards the hole, it's just very, very fast. You can see that ran a little way by. A little bit of a wait on the 11th. Jin Young just trying to stay loose.
Yeah, on a cool day, leading it by 5. It's time to see who's in the comfort zone, presented by Zenus. Take a guess. Jin Young Ko has been comfortable with a lead since the second half of 2021, looking for her 3rd win in her last 6 starts. 1st in total birdies through 54 holes, tied for 5th in total putts. You know, 83rd in fairways. She's still hitting 3 out of 4 of them. She looks comfortable. She's in that Zenus comfort zone.
Here's Lindsay Weaver. That's 2nd to 11.
She's got 138. This is a 9-iron for her. She's got a little bit of a downhill lie here. It's another one of those greens that if you can get just a little bit to the right of this flag and beyond it, will probably give you the best birdie chance, but that was not what she wanted.
Yeah, need a little more of a hop forward. Fairways were starting to really firm out yesterday, a bit firmer with the greens, but this moisture will have softened them. Now Nelly.
This from 128, drifting a little bit to the right, but not a bad spot.
Here's Jessica for par. Always a healthy rivalry between the two sisters, and they are battling today. Jessica at 9 under, Nelly at 8 under. They played together yesterday, which Jessica was saying isn't always easy, because sometimes having too much fun out there, you forget about the tournament. That can actually be a help, I think, for certain players who maybe get a little too agitated. Not sure that's the case with the Cortas. Zoko getting ready to go here on the tee at 11. She was talking yesterday about how much of a key it is to find the fairways out here.
That starts off up the right, not coming back much.
Gonna miss the fairway?
Yeah.
Can't tell from down at the tee, Tom. It's
Yeah.
kind of blind up there.
And we're tough to see from our angle. We'll find out for you. Now Jin Young.
Coming down in the middle of it.
Zoko, by the way, ranked 68th in fairways hit so far this week, which is not particularly good out here when you're in the final group. Now Jin Young Ko,
who ranks 10th for the year, so not many drivers better. And that's not missing the fairway.
Yeah, that one bounding on down there. Now Lindsay Weaver for a birdie.
This one's going to go uphill, going to break to the right, and then come back downhill again towards the hole. Oh my God, I tell you what, she's got some really good speed control. And it's come up a little short, but I think, you know, from those long range with these slopey putts, the last ones that I've seen have been very impressive.
Yeah, Karen, and when you're feeling a little bit of pressure or need to press, that could potentially get away from you.
She's got a putting lesson from Emma Talley a few weeks ago. That's really helped her. And she does a really good Emma Talley impression, which we might get to a bit later. Back at the 11th with Nelly Corta for a birdie.
Not a bad spot to putt from.
Oh. I wonder if Karen can investigate the significance of the armbands. If that's has any significance, or whether it's a fashion statement. You're looking at me quizzically. I go to fashion advice for you, Morgan.
I think it's part of the sweater design.
Oh, okay. Didn't know if it was like some sort of arm strain and she had it taped up. Jin Young Ko 5 ahead. You can see the race to the CME Globe starting position and then the projected position. Red is bad, as you would expect. That's outside of the top 60. Inside of the top 60 is green. That means you're going to be getting a trip to Tiburon. Zoko did finish up in the rough down the right side.
Yeah, and it's pretty heavy rough. 154 hole, 136 front. Downwind, that's just a chop and hope out of the rough. Good line if it releases.
Trying to get up there.
That was way too soft to bounce, landing on a downhill slope in the fairway out of the rough.
Yesterday the fairways were firming up a bit, but softer today. Not a particularly nice day today. Temperature sort of high 50s, low 60s Fahrenheit, and a bit of breeze. I had to wipe all the rain off the seat of my golf cart to make it to my comfortable tower, Jerry.
I don't like you.
Jin Ko.
Gap wedge, 120, and it has not reached 60 degrees out here, by the way. Another quality shot, just right of the hole. A little shy, though. She's not happy.
Yeah, not her best.
To 12, tied for second, Caroline Masson.
She talked a little bit the other day about how she was feeling burnt out after a busy summer and really spent a month at home feeling refreshed, and I think it's showing in her golf game this week.
Cooler temperatures. Nothing can cool off Jin Ko. And to win for the third time in her last 6 starts. On the tee at the 12th, tied for second, Lindsay Weaver.
Yeah. With a penalty area down the right, bunker down the left. The reaction of the crowd says it all. It's a good one.
Karen Stupples with this penultimate grouping. Up on that 12th green, Caroline Masson has a chance for birdie in a moment. First 11.
Jin Ko.
It's a much longer birdie effort than she thought when that second shot was in the air. She was genuinely surprised. It came up a little short. I had a chance to talk to David Brooker walking up the fairway after the second shot, and he said, yesterday and today, when she's between clubs, she's taking the shorter one and hitting it hard. So that's why she thought she hit enough, got enough of that to get it closer, going with the gap wedge instead of pitching wedge. Nonetheless, this birdie putt uphill initially, downhill at the hole, and turning right.
I mean, smart play, Jerry, to leave it below the hole, but when you swing harder at a wedge like that, it's going to spin more.
Flag today's cut over a ridge, and so had a bit of pace on it once it went by the hole on the other side of that ridge.
Right, Messon to get within 4 as Ko marks and has a par putt in a moment. Okay. So Caro, as she's known, goes to -11, 4 birdies in her first 12. And now her fiance, Jason McDeed, back at the fairway, caddying for Nelly.
Behind it 129.
You can't make it up.
Is this the right club?
Just give me a second. I mean, right now it feels right to left. I mean, it's not all.
It's fine.
Yeah, I like this. I think it's playing that 115 number.
This is just a wedge. And I guess when your fiance's in the group in front, it makes it easy to get into the course at the same time.
Yeah. They were going to get married last September, and then COVID happened and pushed it back. Jason and Carol. 11.
Glad you clarified. Sasso here for a birdie.
I'm out.
There it is. Not a laughing matter there. Series 3 from Yuka. So she gets back to 1 over for the day.
Third shot for Jessica Corta at the 14th.
That's reasonably well done there. That'll leave her with a pretty straight uphill putt to save par.
Second for Weaver at 12. Uh-oh.
That's a big mistake there with a short wedge in your hand.
It's the third player at 12 in the last couple of days who has come up well short. Lexi, Jin Young, and now Lindsay. Probably just a coincidence. 11.
Jin Young leaving herself longer for par than she would have liked.
Yeah, she's usually quite so incredibly solid on these, but she did miss one of a similar length yesterday. Was it the 9th hole? She happened, however, to get two pretty good reads. One from Yuka Saso, one from Elizabeth Zoko. Both putts went in the hole, so, and they're on, I mean, just barely off to the side of this line. Should be no doubt what it does.
It's always a little better, Jerry, to see the people in front of you on the same line make the putt.
Yeah, oh yes, as opposed to just hit a horrible one.
Yeah, or miss it and then add doubt into your mind of what it might do, but just should be nearly dead center here.
Yeah. Dave Brooker did ask me to give him a report if anybody were making a run at him. And I got to share the news with him that there was nothing to report.
Not quite yet. Caroline Masson's trying. She's within 4, but I think she'll need to make a couple more birdies to get Jin Young Ko thinking.
Let's take a look at our course setup. It's brought to you by the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America. It's Donald Ross Classic, Mountain Ridge Country Club.
It's a fabulous golf course. The players all raving about it. Donald Ross, one of my personal favorite designers. Just really nearly a major championship test this week. And one of the best major champions of this generation is in front by 4.
Par 3 13th, and the closest challenger right now to the lead, Caroline Masson. See if she can get the number right here. Leaving it just below the hole as the ideal spot.
Okay.
It's okay, but it's going to be a quick putt.
Third for Weaver at 12.
This is downhill all the way to the hole. Nicely judged, but a little tester for her par.
Just 2 events to play after this week before the CME Group Tour Championship. She's 84th in the race. Par putt for Jessica at 14.
She stood up on that one right away. I feel like she missed her spot where she wanted to roll the ball over. And a lot of players putt that way, get it started on the right line, and good putters know instantly when they've missed that spot.
Won for the first time since 2018 at the season opening Diamond Resorts Tournament of Champions in a playoff with Danielle Kang. 4th time that she has won her first event of a season. Incredible. Jin Young Ko didn't win until July 4th weekend, but won again in Portland 3 weeks ago, and now trying to win for the 10th time on the LPGA Tour to match the number of wins she had on her original tour back home, the KLPGA. She's at the 12th, up by 4.
Third to play, other 2 players both in really good shape in the fairway. This one will be right center. Check that. Dead center.
Yeah, Jerry, I looked it up. She's 4th in total driving this year. That combines your driving accuracy and your driving distance. So just really impressive off the tee for Jin Young.
Complete player. Only played 4 events last year. Still won the money title. Lindsay Weaver for par at the 12th.
This is a little bit of a tester. Is back up the hill though, can be aggressive.
She was given a putting lesson by Emma Talley, told her to put her hands a little bit further forward at address. There you could see they were actually not that much forward. They were still almost a little bit back, which shows just how far back they were. That putting lesson being in Arkansas, and she also put a new putter in the bag. So just a little bit of a different visual and feel on the greens for Lindsay.
Yeah, she tied for 8th there. These are the 13 LPGA Tour founders. Incredibly, only 5 of them are in the LPGA Hall of Fame, which is a points-based Hall of Fame. It'd be a wonderful gesture if at some point they were added. 3 pioneers added this week. Mary Mills, 3-time major champ. Sally Little, she's certainly Hall of Fame caliber. First great international players on the LPGA Tour. And Nancy Lopez. Their spirit being honored. This week, Yuka Saso was positively giddy when she found out that her U.S. Women's Open victory made her an LPGA member.
And the giddiness came from the 5-year exemption. She had no idea that was the case. Gap wedge 104.
Sounded heavy, Jerry.
Yeah, that's not a good shot.
Now she got away with it.
I think she might have got a little mud in the eyes. That's just a horrible feeling.
It's interesting how many heavy shots we've seen at this 12th last couple of days. Jin Young hit one yesterday.
Well, Morgan mentioned this is the lowest point on the golf course. So even though the fairway doesn't feel all that soft underfoot, it is to the golf club.
More. Yeah. Yeah.
And from the right with a little help. Yesterday was more downwind, really tough to get the ball to stop. But with the light overnight and morning rains and the fact that the wind's more from the right, should be a lot easier. Plenty of green with which to work. Just catch it cleanly. 88 to the hole. That was caught nicely. One big hop. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that'll do. Caroline Masson just birdied this 12th. Get within 4. Jin Young can birdie it and get back to a 5-shot lead. How about our top 10s leaderboard? This will not surprise you, at least in terms of Jin Young Ko. 9 of her 15 events. Been so impressed with Patty Tavatanagit. The victory, of course, was spellbinding watching her take apart Mission Hills at an 18 under par total. But then what she's done since then has been so impressive. Turning 22 this month, Patty. Our leaders, cosmetics, top 10s leaderboard. Jin Young did a lot better than a top 10 this week. 13.
Caroline Masson for the birdie. This would be for 3 in a row, and it would be to, you know, start to make Jin Young Ko think a little bit.
I don't think this is a putt you can be very aggressive with, though, Tom. This is going to be a defensive stroke, I'd have to imagine.
Yeah, pretty quick.
See how short that stroke is. Just get it started.
She made it, though.
Wow. Beautiful.
Caroline Masson now 5 under par for the day. She's within 3 of the lead and trying to chase down the world number 2. Lindsay Weaver's on the tee at the 13th. Just good to go. Yeah, that's fine. That's a good spot.
I'm asking for it to go, Tom, because there's a this is one of the biggest false fronts
big
on
false
13. Front. It's almost 30 yards.
Talking about LPGA USGA Girls Golf, and this week is benefiting the organization. There are a number of players that went through the system that are in the field here this week, including Lindsay Weaver. And the former commissioner of the LPGA Tour, Mike Wan, has put a lot of effort into this. She was a standard bearer at the LPGA event in Arizona, the old Safeway event. Got to watch the likes of Brittany Lincecum and Annika Sorenstam at the time. Someone thought, let's take a picture. Yeah. And what a great idea it was, because now we have that little piece of history with a couple of big name players, and now Lindsay's on the tour. Let's go to 14.
And the hottest player on the course, Caroline Masson, with 3 straight birdies to get within 3 of Jin Young Ko.
I have to say, I wasn't sure that the conditions today would have given up 5 under through 13. It's very impressive golf.
Now that 3-shot deficit of Masson is pending this putt for Jin Young Ko for birdie at the 12th to go back up by 4.
Correct. Correct.
That is, if she needed it. Yuka Saso ran her birdie putt past and just showed her the line once again with her successful par effort. Just left to center. And there are quite a few gnats that are enjoying the coverage today, especially back here in the trees.
And starring in our coverage.
Yes, they are.
And she's bogey-free after beginning the day with a 4-shot lead, and she's now played 12 holes, and her lead remains 4. They didn't play this event in 2020 because of COVID, so she is the defending champion. Go back to Phoenix, the 2019 Cognizant Founders Cup. She was 4 shots behind entering the final round. Yulu was the leader. Both Cortas were in contention. Carlota Segunda was right there. She made birdie at that 16th, and here at 18, finishes up post 22 under par. Yulu coming up in the final group had this putt for par at the 18th to force a playoff. And the Founders went to Jin-Young Ko. It was her first win in the U.S. after a victory as a non-member in Korea, where she was on the LPGA at the time, and then she won in Australia after joining the LPGA Tour in 2018. After that win, she went on to win a couple of weeks later the ANA Inspiration, then won in Evian, part of a 4-win season. All of the winners of this event honoring the 13 founders of the LPGA Tour are major champions.
This is going to take a little bit of concentration here. It's not like it's straight down a cliff, but just a gradual slope, and anything along of the flag today needs players' attention.
And we saw Caroline's putt, how quick that was, and that was from half the distance. She 3-putted this hole yesterday, start of 2 3-putts in a row, she said in her press conference. She hopes she doesn't have any more today.
Well, we thought about this golf course and the way it was going to play when we first arrived here. I felt like we might see a few more 3-putts than we normally do, but a lot more greens in regulation. Let's see if Nelly got this one spot on. Just needs to sit down. That's the problem. It just keeps going once it goes by the hole. It's a tough green. It's only playing 145 yards. It's not really a long par 3. This one's right down the hill at the 15th. If you're left of the flag today, you'd be hoping that it's going to run right down towards the hole, but this one's got stuck up there.
I asked her how her agent did yesterday, Brian on the bag. She said he did a great job. He did a wonderful job filling in for Brittany.
Good defensive putt there. Yeah, not easy to go out there and caddy, but it's quite intimidating. I've done it once before. It's really quite intimidating. You feel like it's your first day at school and you don't know where to stand.
And then you add the weather and the rain into it today.
You watch it on TV, you think, oh, it must be easy. Just carry the bag, hold the flag. But then when you get out, you've got to rake the bunker, and you think, well, I've got to rake this really well because somebody's living depends on me not messing this up. So Young Yu now. Pretty defensive all over this green, really. The only place where you could maybe give it a run would be where she's standing right now. A little bit slower back up the hill.
We had 23 inches of rain since July. Can you imagine this course windy and firm?
This is Jessica for an eagle from the other side of the green, back up the hill. Just going to be a birdie. And we will go back one to the 14th.
And Karen Stupples has caught up with Caroline Masson, who's 4 back.
Well, and the rain has started to fall. It's not a very heavy rain, but it's a light rain that's enough to make you really think about your second shot here. She's got 160, but she's got a 5-iron, so that's a lot of club for this shot. It is back into the wind a little bit, but that rain makes things play a little bit heavy and a little bit longer. This one is high, and it's drawing left of the hole.
The problem with trying to catch Jin Young Ko is that you have to do all of the work. She rarely makes mistakes. 13.
Lindsay Weaver for birdie. Another defensive putt there. We talked yesterday about Lindsay maybe recording her career best finish on the LPGA Tour. It looks like it's going to come. She's third on her own right now. Best finish is tied for 8th.
Go all in with the Golf Pass Viva Golf Vegas Sweepstakes. You can play an unforgettable round with 2-time major champ Colin Morikawa. Enter for your chance to win at golfpass.com/Viva Golf Vegas. Thank you very much.
Have you got any Elvis in your karaoke repertoire?
Sure. I don't think we're quite to that point. It's
no,
just
I wasn't asking you. I wasn't
for
asking
Jin Young.
you to sing it. I was just
okay.
seeing what would be. I know Neil Diamond is one of your favorites. Jin Young Ko now on the tee.
Going with 7-iron here. A little into the breeze, mostly from the left. That spitting drizzle starting to increase in frequency, and yeah, it's just pretty out here. That wasn't leaning on that one. That was a nice smooth swing, little draw.
Stay there. That is the place to be. Wonderful shot. That's a player that's so in control of her golf game. 4 shots ahead and just fending off Caroline Masson. Back on the 13th, Yuka Sasso.
Going with 7-iron as well, Tom.
Jerry, it's nearly impossible to cover the false front and leave it short of the hole location like Jin Young did.
Wow, that was a nice little draw held up against the breeze. What a beauty.
Look at that coming back. That's 2 really good shots there. Let's go to the tee at the 16th.
And with the rain falling, the uphill par 3 is where we find Brooke Henderson.
16th hole plays uphill about 12 yards. Hole location on the front right today. This doesn't quite get it up there far enough, but looks like it'll stay on top of the false front.
Yeah. 13.
Elizabeth Zoko is going to be first putt.
Had a good chance on the last hole. 10 feet for birdie. Left it hanging on the edge. Good 8-iron here, although pales in comparison to her fellow competitors. Started doing the aim point technique middle of the year. Hadn't done it before. Justin Sheehan, her coach, says just to feel a little more confident with the putting, because her putting stats were pretty bad, but they've gotten better according to the ones they chart privately. The big question I asked Tom was, this isn't her first time in the last group of the final round. It happened in Marathon, the final round, of course, being what turned out to be Saturday. I said, how will she feel? Will she be able to handle it? Will she be feeling anxious? He said, it took a while, but I finally see it in her eyes and the way she comports herself, that she feels she belongs out here.
Well, that's a big part of it, isn't it?
You can't teach it, can you, Morgan?
No, and it's a lot of self-belief, because you're out there. I mean, yes, you have a caddy, but you really are, you're over the ball by yourself and in your own head. And it just really has to come from within.
The golf landscape is littered through the years. Nameless players with an incredible amount of talent who never had that self-belief. But then you look at the ones who you wonder how they got to this level, be it PGA or LPGA Tour, and that's 100% what it is. Hit it.
Go, go, go.
Go back up to 14.
And Caroline Masson for a 4th straight birdie.
It's one of those putts that should break to the right because of the slope of this green, goes from back to front.
Even if she doesn't win, she's going to move way up in the race to the CME Globe and maybe have a chance to play for that $1.5 million first prize. Our insights by KPMG shows you that Jin Young Ko for the season, and again, these numbers have been tracked since mid-June at the Meta Hill Championship. Actually He's been losing a third of a stroke to the field in putting. How about this week? Nearly 8 strokes better than the field.
Well, what did she do? Make 160 feet of putts in the
round
first round en route to a 63?
Yep.
One of the caddies that was in that group really seriously doubts the accuracy of that number, Morgan. He said it was maybe 260.
Well, she's hitting it a little bit closer today. We haven't seen her have too many long putts.
Gaining 8 shots on the field, she might end up winning by that much if she continues to hit these shots and make these putts. And once again, she got a great read from Zoko.
And the sign there we saw of the 13 founders of the LPGA Tour. All of them knew how important it was to be able to putt if you're going to win tournaments on this tour.
Here's Lindsay Weaver alone in third at the 14th.
Go, go, go.
Stay.
There's a pretty big false front there. That'll probably gather back towards the front of the green. Yeah, almost. I think every green on this golf course, other than 2, have a false front at least 5 paces into the green.
It's really getting nasty out there to 15.
Par 5, Masson on the tee.
I can confirm it is getting really nasty out here. This par 5 should be reachable from this tee, but with this rain and these nasty conditions, and that's a favourable bounce off the corner of the bunker.
Yeah, it was getting close to the bunker down the right there.
Yeah, a little too close, but it's safe enough now.
2 bunkers down that right side. I think she's in between them.
And at the par 3, it's Jessica Corta. Tied for 4th. And our leader, after yet another birdie, closing in on her 10th win and some LPGA Tour history. 4 under today, looking for a 14th straight round in the 60s.
The only real thing to avoid here is a bunker through the left side of the fairway, which into the wind uphill today might be out of reach. Not an issue for Jin Young. Fairways are so wide, Grant, they say you can land a plane on them. 4 years ago, somebody experienced mechanical difficulty and landed one right on this hole, little single engine. Picture perfect landing, they said.
Same for Jin Young there. I don't think she's been more than a few feet off that center line on any tee shot here on the back 9. She was in a bunker off the tee at 9, pitched out, still made par.
Yeah, that bunker at 9, though, isn't far from where he aims. That really wasn't a big miss. Good one here, just right of center. Well, now dead center.
Jin Young has added a bit of distance in the last couple of years. She's not short by any means. Yuka is a big hitter, and so is Elizabeth Zoko.
Yeah, she has plenty of power. She has that extra 15 that a lot of players don't. When she really needs a smack one, she can. And the ball flight that doesn't really rise, but this one's going to hang right.
Oh, that might be blocked out there, Jerry. There's a big tree on the right side.
PGA Tour is in Las Vegas for consecutive weeks, and the first of those is the Shriners Children's Open, and the final round comes your way today at 5 o'clock Eastern time. Sam Burns is trying to win for a second consecutive week. He begins the final round a couple back of Indiana native Adam Schenk. And Matthew Wolff, who won the Aon Risk Reward Challenge on the PGA Tour, he's in contention as well. Lindsay Weaver at the 14th for birdie.
It's really tough to judge the pace, putting through the fringe, up the slope, but she does that.
Well, Tom teased this earlier in the broadcast. Lindsay Weaver spoke after her round yesterday about getting a putting tip from Emma Talley, and she put on a little show for us.
Oh, I have a pretty good Emma accent. I've been around her for years, so okay. your hands are just so far back. Like, you need to put your hands farther forward. They're so far back. I've never seen you that far back. And so I just, yeah.
Moving them forward, it worked.
Moved them forward, yeah.
That's great.
And then so I would move them forward, and she'd go, more, more, more. And I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, it works.
Yeah, it's her best pal in the tally from Princeton, Kentucky. She's got it down. It's pretty good, isn't it?
I texted Emma. I said, sounds like you're a pretty good putting coach.
Yeah.
Can I get a lesson?
Gave her the tip. She put a new putter in the bag. She finished 8th that week, and now she's contending for her first title. So-Yeon Yu has this at the 14th. We talked about Annika with the 14 straight rounds in the 60s. So-Yeon did it over the course of 2 seasons, at the end of 16, the beginning of 17, 14 straight rounds. Jin Young can join both of those. So-Yeon was Player of the Year, co-Player of the Year in 2017, and it started the great run off the top, continuing a good run from the end of 2016. So 14 straight rounds in the 60s for Annika and So-Yeon, and Jin Young, it appears, is going to join them today. And then she'll go for the record back home in Korea in a couple of weeks' time. Nelly for birdie.
Good.
Interestingly, Nelly leads the chase for the Vare Trophy, but she's not scheduled to play in Korea, and she's not going to get to the minimum number of 70 rounds, and so Nelly will not be eligible to win the Vare Trophy.
That's definitely a little bit unfortunate. As well as she's played this year, the Olympics not counting towards the Vare Trophy, and obviously events being canceled due to COVID and international travel. But
would you like to see a little grace given there, or is it something that you can't change?
That's something that would have had to be decided before any shot was hit at the beginning of the season. So can't go back retroactively, but just COVID causing all kinds of confusion around different entries. I mean, think about what they did last year, extending players' rookie seasons, you know, players not losing status if they chose not to come over to the United States and play.
15.
Masson second. You talked about being reachable. She's got the fairway metal out here, Karen.
There's just 7 words. She's got 205 to the flag. This one going a little bit left of the flag, but the green does slope down to the right. If you get there.
Way short.
Took a really, really soft bounce, too. Only bounced there about 5 feet.
At the 14th, Lindsay Weaver for par. And she's really hung in.
She's played really steady. Hasn't made many mistakes, and the few that she has, her putter has saved her. It's been impressive. First time really in this position.
She was really in danger of having to go back to Q school, but a tie for 8th in Arkansas a couple of weeks ago, and now she can even think about the CME Group Tour Championship. Elizabeth Zoko is 1 inside that top 60, as you see, but wide of the fairway here at 14.
And like Morgan said, blocked out lie is not good. It's lying down grain with a hybrid, according to the enthusiast. Ooh, that's going nowhere. Said it was the second worst lie, the volunteer. So he's seen all day.
Yeah, plus, considering that it started raining, Jerry, that has to make it even worse. Just really tough to gouge the ball out of the thick rough already and then add the extra moisture to it. It's a lot better where Jin Young is, Jerry.
Yeah, but she still has a hybrid in, and it's only 165 up the hill, but into that increasing wind from the left. 5 hybrid. She hit this a couple times yesterday at really close range. Left of the hole. Safe.
Yeah, just she knew she got it a little bit above the hole there. Going to be quick, but I mean, that's her miss with a 5-shot lead. I think it'll be okay.
She is bogey free today. Her lead has gone from 4 to 5. Spits of rain here and beginning to come down just a little bit harder. Jin Young Ko continues to pour it on. She won in the rain in Portland 3 weeks ago. That event was shortened to 54 holes. Good run today from Caroline Masson. How about Gabby Lopez with a 65, the low round of the day? National Hispanic Heritage Month, mid-September to mid-October. Gabby was speaking to some of the staff here who are Hispanic at Mountain Ridge Country Club earlier in the week, not unlike how Lorena Ochoa often. At the 14th, Jin Young Ko. And the others in that final group, Elizabeth Zoko and Yuka Sasso.
Bit of a challenge on this putt. She doesn't want to do anything but leave herself a stress-free one. And if she does leave any length, she wants it to be under the hole. She's looking at a line that is intended to not intentionally miss it under the hole. Trying to make it as you would in this situation, especially when you're Jin Young Ko.
She's playing almost 8 feet of break here, Jerry.
Yeah, well, where she's looking, I know you got a great camera down the line. That's at least 8 feet out. 1-3 putt this week. Now she's looking even wider.
Yeah, sometimes you stand over that back of that green has a little bit more slope to it, so you feel it in your feet. Maybe I need to aim a little bit higher. Step back, check it out, say, yes, maybe I do, or no, commit to my original line.
Now it's just all about speed. Oh, wow. Oh, great effort. And even when she readjusted that line, that's still 3 feet away.
The lead is 5 for the moment, 15.
What happened with the second shot here, Karen? Do you think she just didn't have enough club?
Well, I think you're caught between, you know, a couple of clubs. If the other one goes long, then, you know, you're faced with a difficult up and down. From the front, there's plenty of green to use, but I think she was a little perplexed. I think the extra heaviness of the rain. I mean, it literally has turned from drizzle to rain now. I think that little bit of extra heaviness takes a little bit of distance off the shot. Plus, she drew it into the wind. And that kind of took a little bit of steam out of it too. If she wanted to ride the wind with a little fade, she'd have got a little bit of extra distance off of it. So shot shape and extra rain caused the shortness is what I believe.
Yeah, this is a hole where she could have really done with a putt for an eagle. You know, 5 shots back, she's got to really turn it on if she's going to have a chance to win.
Eagles would have been a good way to do it with 18 as well. Another potential, but that's a nice little chip.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that Caroline would have enough distance to get to the 18th, though, depending on where the tee is.
She'll have a putt there to get it to 13 under. You got to think she's going to need some help from Jin Young Ko, who needs to make a mistake. Doesn't look like it's going to happen with the way that she's been playing. Very, very steady golf.
We'll see. Jin Young has a putt for par. First, Zoko.
Hit a nice little lob wedge from about 70 yards to here, turning left.
Maybe she's a bit of a mutter in her 3rd year on the LPGA Tour. In the rain of the marathon, finished tied for 2nd, playing well again this week. At the 16th, Zhang and Lee 6 has had a terrific year. Made some swing changes.
She said earlier this week, she told Jerry, or excuse me, told you that she's really feeling comfortable with the top of her backswing, which she's been working on all year. Finally feels like she's nailed it down.
This is the 17th, and Jessica Corta. Oh, that's gone right across the top of the hole.
And Jerry, you mentioned the only 3 putt of the week was just one all week. It was at the 9th hole, and she's not the only one to do that there.
No, I'm sure there was actually worse than 3 putts on that hole at some point.
Yeah.
But had to move her mark for Yuka Sasso's birdie effort here. Knows what it does. Yuka just had a cruel power lip. Turns a touch to the left, but not much.
Seeing her caddy Dave Brooker there. This is a kind of a day where a good caddy can make a big difference. Just making sure you keep everything dry. A caddy needs to be like an octopus today and have about 8 arms to hold everything.
What they always tell you, isn't it? I didn't have enough arms today.
She's not going to have enough arms to hold all of her trophies. She's got 9 of them already, headed towards a 10th, and just checks off another par. The lead is 5 with 4 to play.
Masson for a birdie at 15.
A little bit back down the hill.
Great round of golf. I mean, even if she doesn't win, I mean, it would take a lot to be able to catch Jin Young Ko. It's still, if she finishes where she is right now, or even more under par, what a great Sunday for Masson. Lindsay Weaver back in the fairway. She get home here, just needs to get up that false front. It's not going to be able to get to the green. Might come back a little bit. She had some problems with that false front yesterday, if you remember. It was in the rough on the left and couldn't get it to stay on the green. A lot of holes with that feature. 17th hole. Second shot for Jung Lee 6. Long hole this. It does play downhill off the tee and a little downhill with the second, but still going in with quite a lot of club. Got the hybrid out.
Hole location yesterday was absolutely diabolical, Tom. Today a little bit more accessible in the front of the green. But with the wind coming a little bit off the right. Hole location on the right side. I don't know if she thinned that a little bit. Didn't sound totally solid. Didn't get all of it.
Yeah, it's just going to struggle to get onto the green if you're pitching it short there in these conditions.
Third shot at the par 5 18th for Nasa Hataoka. Not a good day in the rain. It's going to end well. A couple of wins for NASA. Rain-shortened Marathon Classic, where Elizabeth Zoko finished tied for second, and the Walmart West Arkansas Championship. Caroline Messon, 32 years old, in her 9th season. The LPGA Tour, the one victory back in 2016. And she is, at the very least, making Jin Young Ko earn it, Karen.
Well, she's certainly trying to, that's for sure. But, I mean, it's not easy out here now. I mean, you're getting the brunt of the rain. It makes attacking hole locations really difficult. Whereas Jin Young Ko can just sit back and not have to take on any of these flags. But if you're chasing, you kind of really do have to try and put something out there. This flag being a good example. Caroline's using a 6-iron here. It plays about 11 yards uphill. It is into some heavy rain and wind now.
I feel like we might have had a couple days like this, Karen, when we played the Solheim Cup in Germany, though.
That's a very good point.
Although, like the rest of us, now lives in Florida, so a little bit different blood now.
She was in the middle of that drama, wasn't she, with Joanna Pillar?
Jin Young Ko back on the tee at 15.
Probably a stretch to get home in 2, but you never know. Like Karen mentioned, that rain is officially rain and does make the ball go shorter. This is going to land in an upslope, but once again, dead center.
Yeah, but she can play this as a 3-shotter, no problem, as long as she avoids the bunkers and doesn't mess around too much on that green. Jin Young Ko should be able to cruise to victory here with 4 holes to play on a wet Sunday in West Caldwell, New Jersey. Weaver at 15. Similar shot to the one we just saw from Caroline Masson. Just a little shorter.
Yeah, you mentioned her shot yesterday. This one much easier from the fairway, and great result there. Excellent, excellent, well judged.
That'll be to get to 11 under, break out of that tie for 3rd. This is the 17th, and Lee's 6 trying to stay dry there, just short of the green. I would think it took quite a lot for her to get over the Amundi Evian Championship, Morgan. You know, we talked about Lexi Thompson at the US Women's Open, that bit of disappointment. Lexi looked really good on the back nine. The same in Korea. I think they would have paid a lot of attention to Lee 6's struggles during the back nine there.
Oh yeah, it was on the front nine where she had already by the 9th hole had lost her 5-shot lead, and I mean, it was honestly an impressive comeback to get into the playoff, and she was visibly upset after that event, and yeah, I'm sure was quite disappointed. Probably still is. Felt like she had that one well within her grasp. Slow up the hill, a little bit of moisture, extra moisture now with it raining harder.
This is Nelly Corta for a birdie at 15. And Nelly not really getting anything going today. Bogeyed the opening hole, made a few birdies around the turn. She's just even par for the day. Well, we're not far away from the finish line on the LPGA Tour in 2021. In a couple of weeks' time, the tour will head to Korea for the BMW Ladies Championship. Usually a busy Asia swing, but just one event on that swing this year due to COVID restrictions. And then 2 weeks in Florida to finish it up in Bel Air, Florida, in the Tampa, St. Pete area, and then down the road in Naples. Lindsay Weaver for a birdie. Lindsay's trying to fight her way into both of those events. The LPGA saying that top 10 finish here will get you into the Pelican Women's Championship, and she may climb up enough to get into the season ender. Now Jin Young Ko.
Win at that with a 5-wood. It's leaking a little right. Oh wow, that might not be hittable. It looked like it hung up just below the edge of the bank, and that is a steep bank.
Yeah,
that's going to be tough.
Maybe on her tiptoes.
At the 16th, Caroline Masson.
And what you're seeing here is one of the things that caddies will do. They'll stand over the ball. I mean, you think that they're standing over the player, but they're actually standing over the ball. They're trying to keep as much rain off the ball as they can, because too much water on the ball will interfere with how the strike is. So they're trying to keep that as clear as possible. This downhill.
Hard to do, Karen, when the rain's coming sideways.
Yeah. The effort counts, though, Morgan.
Yeah, I never had my caddy do that. I never felt like it really made that much of a difference. Because, I mean, look, compared to where the umbrella's being held and then the rain's coming in sideways. But maybe mentally it helps more than anything.
17.
Par putt here for Lee 6. Yep, keeps her inside the top 5, 4th on her own. Big purse here, $3 million. It's the biggest purse outside of the majors and the CME Group Tour Championship. So everything counts here coming down the stretch. A lot of money on the line.
Lexi at the 16th.
Again, you know, I think caddy here is trying to keep her a little bit dry as well. I always think players too, they either like holding the umbrella or they dislike holding the umbrella. I used to hate holding an umbrella, period, because it used to feel like I used to hit poor shots after holding the umbrella for too long. But everybody has their own little things. And I think, Morgan, what it does is it takes the urgency away from the player from having to hit the shot too quickly. I think they can still maintain their rhythm on the putt if they still feel like the ball's dry and they're dry.
For me, I always felt like it was a little bit of a distraction having the caddy stand that close when that's not something that you would usually do.
Couple of events now with Will Davidson for Lexi Thompson. Had her brother Nicholas with her at the Solheim Cup. She's someone who says she wants a caddy who's her best friend out there. Not everyone's like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, most players and caddies have great relationships out here, especially good working duos. But yeah, Lexi needs somebody to really be in the fight with her and help her not get down on herself and stay positive out there through the round.
Lizette Salas reunited with John Colleen earlier this year and credited him with part of her terrific season. Terrific shot. John. Still can't believe she's only won once. Shows you how hard it is to win out here. She's played such good golf, especially this summer. Frequent contender in big events, Lizette Salas. Now, Masson for par to stay 4 back and alone in second.
Shouldn't really be anything in this, Grant. Just dead center, straight up the hill.
Do have to move, of course. Remember the change a couple of years ago. You couldn't stand behind the player after so many players had done that for their whole careers.
And then there was a lot of confusion as to when the caddy actually had to step aside.
Yeah.
And it's all, players are a little bit more used to it now.
If she stays there, she should be good to play at the CME Group Tour Championship. Take a look at our insights by KPMG. And for the season, she's losing half a stroke in the approach game. Much better this week, and good putter this year, even better this week.
Now Yuka with her third.
Did a really promising looking second that landed right in that bank and stopped down. Oh, look at that. Good shot. Played it with a lot of loft and a ton of spin.
To boost the stats. A tap in birdie. Almost a tap in. She'll get it to 10 under par. There's a lot of players tied for 5th right now, so if you can get out of that logjam, nice financial prize. It is pretty steep there, but it looks like she can get a swing at it pretty easily.
Yeah, it hung up just high enough for it to make the shot a lot easier, but certainly not easy. Just gotta. I mean, you just got to get lucky with how you guess it comes out of there. What you don't want to do is think that it's going to come out dead, catch a bit of a flyer, and then hit it past the hole, because then you're going to struggle to get your first putt close.
She's got all the shots. And that is a tap-in birdie, and Jin Young Ko will get it to 18 under par. I remember talking to one of the caddies on Wednesday, and he was saying, "Oh, you know, I'm not sure what the winning score is going to be here. I think, you know, single digits, maybe 8 under, yeah. 8 or 9 under." And my response to that, when anybody talks about a winning score, I say, out here on this tour, the scores are always better than you expect, unless the weather gets really nasty. I'm talking about strong winds and the greens firm up. The golf courses are pretty defenseless, even when you stretch them to 66, 6,800 yards, like we've seen on a number of occasions. The players just tear it up. It's not easy for those officials setting up a golf course, because you don't want to make it silly and overdo it with the challenge, but at the same time, a lot of the members at these clubs, they don't want to see their course yielding an 18 or a 20 under par score. Now Caroline Masson on the tee at 17.
Well, this hole playing downhill, wind off the right, rain off the right. But I think to your point, I mean, people like to say, you know, that people should watch women's golf because, you know, it's more relatable. You can relate that to your own game. Well, I think, you know, when club members of the clubs that these players come and play and they see them shooting low numbers and tearing up the course, it really proves just how good they are, and it really, that's just almost a bad way of thinking about women's golf, because they are better than people expect, and people should come out and watch and see for themselves.
Well, I think relatable in a sense that you might, at your home club, take a group of male amateurs who've got single-digit handicaps, and they might hit it the same distance roughly as an LPGA player. The LPGA player is outscoring them by 20 shots over 4 rounds.
Under tremendous pressure as
well.
Right,
yeah. I mean, it's all it's all relative.
Lindsay Weaver has been all over tee boxes here on this back nine. She's going to have a pitch shot here coming up. Alone in third. Well, a couple of weeks ago, she was fighting for her LPGA Tour status for 2022. Now she's trying to get into the CME Group Tour Championship and play for that $1.5 million first prize. Second at the 16th for Lindsay Weaver. Come back a little, but not in the direction she'd prefer. But fog delays the first couple of days. It pushed us off schedule, got back on schedule last night. Brooke was dashing up this 18th on day one just to finish the opening round so she wouldn't have to come back and finish Friday morning. Tied for second last week in South Jersey. Tied for 14th at the moment here up at West Caldwell, New Jersey.
At the 17th, good drive by Caroline Masson.
It's good. It's left her a long way though, Tom. 206, and I did get out my distance measuring device to measure it because my yardage book is now returned to pulp.
Oh no, the old wet yardage book.
Yeah, it's pretty useless right now. So, but
have you thrown it away, or are you still, you know, clinging on to some hope that it might give you a number at 18?
Well, I could have traipsed through some thick rough to get to a bin, but I haven't got rid of it just yet. It's in my, it's still on my person.
Hey, Karen, I'll run mine out to you real quick.
No, it's okay. Don't worry. You stay in there in a nice, dry, warm booth. No problem at all. Don't get wet. It's nasty out here. But thank you for the kind offer. No, this is...
There's our booth.
Yes.
I mean, it would take us 2 seconds to run it out to Karen.
I thought about coming in
yeah,
and kind of drying off a little bit, but I'm like, why bother?
Through the magic of television, it wouldn't be us actually running it out there. Our assistant, Michelle, looking at us,
figurative,
saying, don't you dare ask me to take that yardage book out.
Much friendlier hole location today than yesterday on this 17th hole, Morgan. I think it's a welcome sight for the players as they come over the hill.
It's still playing as one of the hardest holes. It's still playing as the 4th hardest hole on the golf course, even with the more favorable hole location.
What a shot that is.
Tremendous.
I think her yardage book worked. Lindsay Weaver for par at the 16th.
Yeah, that's just a bummer of a missed club or a little bit of a miss hit off the tee in this position. She's definitely going to need to finish strong here if she wants to keep moving her way up those CME points.
Now, a tie for third, where she is right now with Lee Six and Yuka Saso. First, let's see Jessica for par to finish up at 9 under. All right, she's tied for 6th. So in terms of money, if you tie someone else, then that reduces the amount that you earn, but you get the same number of points as they do in the race to the CME Globe. So it's worth noting for Lindsay, who needs all the points she can get at 84th. Here is the winner of the CME Group Tour Championship, and she had to finish 2nd at the U.S. Women's Open just to get in to Tiburon last year, because she'd only played 3 events. She got in and she won it. Now she's on her way to another win.
Doing a couple swing drills right there before she hit it to work out all those kinks in her swing today. It's been flawless. Going with 7-iron, only 135 is the actual, but it's straight uphill, huge hill, right into the teeth of the wind and the rain, as Karen mentioned.
I expect this, just as it is, to be just left of this flag.
Coachable.
I mean, she's just played really, really smart golf, and then executed on top of it. Has hardly missed the center of a fairway, and I don't think has missed her target on the green by more than 5 feet all day.
I think that's a great point. It doesn't matter how great your strategy is if you don't pull it off. Lee Six. She and Jin Young Ko were rivals on the LPGA, trading major championships and wins on that tour. Both came to the U.S. a year apart. Each won Rookie of the Year, the Louise Suggs Rolex Rookie of the Year award. Each is a major champion. Jin Young has 2. Lee Six denied a second at Evian this summer.
She really has a game built for major championships, though. She's proven it time and time again at being in contention at U.S. Opens and other big venues. Not surprised to see her playing well here on this major style golf course at Mountain Ridge. Just a little bit unlucky there with the spin, barely missing, staying on top of the slope.
Here is this year's U.S. Women's Open champ, Yuka Saso at 16.
7-iron up the hill. Start it right, staying there.
Ooh.
She's going to be really thrilled where that one just ended up.
Once she finds out. Jin Young Ko, flawless today. Bogey free, 5 under, about to tie an all-time LPGA record. Yuka Saso in the rain for birdie at 16.
Aiming to play this one like she's going to turn a ton to the right. That doesn't turn.
Was not a member of the LPGA Tour when the season started, contended to win at the Lotte Championship, did win the U.S. Women's Open, and now she's a member.
Lexi for birdie.
There's one back into the wind, into the rain.
A lot of turn on it as well.
Yeah.
Almost went in the back door. It is really pouring out there. I mean, is there a chance that the greens could start to puddle?
There is here on 16, Tom. Jin Young Ko has called for a ruling because there's a lot of puddling toward the edge of the green, the left edge of the green, but between her ball and the hole is a small little puddle as well. So
we can see it.
Sue Witters is on the scene. I believe she's gotten on the radio to request a squeegee.
Yep.
Here comes Sue Witters. 17.
Good angle here, Karen, for Masson.
It is back up the hill, but it might want to turn. I mean, from where I'm standing, maybe a bit to the left, just off that bunker. There's a pretty steep slope there.
Can almost see that green in our screen. Karen starting to puddle a little bit as well, but what a round by Caroline Masson.
7 under par. And chasing potentially a low round of the week. 63 to open the week for Jin Young Ko.
Elizabeth Zoko with no puddles in her line, creates a line of her own to the cup. She's tied for 3rd.
Surprised, Jerry, with as high as the 16th green sits on this property, that it's puddling so quickly.
Yeah, it's about to be de-puddled by the squeegee guys.
Cliff Moore, superintendent, and his crew, they've been getting here each day at 3 a.m. And that's not uncommon when you're putting a tournament on, but it is incredible work. They rarely get recognized, and thanks to his team. And now Jin Young Ko, her lead is 4 again. Caroline Masson has done everything just about that you could do to make Jin Young earn it, and she has.
I've got this turning a little right. Not much. There's got to be some doubt in her mind as to the speed. It would be easy to think that where that water was might slow it down and power it by, but she's pretty good.
She's better than good. She's unbelievable. We're getting up to those same numbers that you had to shoot to win in Phoenix at the Cognizant Founders Cup. Take a look at the Rolex ranking. She was #1 in the world for 2 straight years. Nelly took over the top spot when Nelly won the KPMG Women's PGA Championship. It's worth noting Jin Young only played 4 events last year on the LPGA Tour. Who knows what would have happened? And she played a full year last year. Where would her win total be? Yuka, #7 in the world. And this is her par putt. What a time.
The old trick that every golfer knows that plays in the rain. Some of us choose not to, but keep the towel under the umbrella.
Everyone's seeing Mountain Ridge for the first time. Yuka is seeing all of these LPGA courses for the first time, almost all of them. Doesn't seem to faze her. Back to 17.
And Nelly has driven it down the left side. Still a long way to go for her second.
Go.
Asking for it to get up, and you can see the green really is puddling in places. The good news is not that many players on the course, so they can deal with the puddling, I would think, pretty easily if they get the squeegees out.
Messon drawing off the grip, which is about to get wet again.
I know. It's because it stays on the hands, and the tendency is to speed up your routine, because you don't want to end up with a slippery grip or slippery glove. So you try and hurry things along, but you shouldn't. You should actually just stick to your normal speed and just deliver the results. Heavy wind on her back and rain. Just got a little gust actually.
Caroline actually started working in the middle of this season with Jim Gormley. They've been working to eliminate the pull, to eliminate the left side, try and almost hit a little bit of a draw. That one was right straight, closest to the line on 18 right there.
A birdie at this 18th would tie her career low in her 9th season on tour. An eagle would be her new best. 17.
Jin Young on the tee.
Starts off right center. And it's going to stay there. That's really gorgeous. Nice, solid drive. I think Brooker's going to be shocked because last report I gave him was a bunch of holes ago they were leading by 5. Now she's birdied pretty much every one and still leading by 5.
Yeah. Young and Lee 6 for par. Jung and Lee 6 is going to have her 8th top 10 of the season. She'll be there at the CME Group Tour Championship. Caroline Masson may well be there too. What happens here in the next few minutes could well determine whether Caroline Masson and Lindsay Weaver make it to the CME Group Tour Championship. Weaver needs to stay in the top 10, which she should have no trouble doing, to make it into the next event, the Pelican Women's Championship, the next full field event. Jennifer Chang with a nice weekend to at least move closer to the top 100 in the race to the CME Globe, which would keep her from having to go back to Q school.
So Nelly was just short of the green in 2. Knocked it past to here and is going to drop a shot. One would think that the race for the #1 spot in the world is going to get quite tight as the season continues. So every world ranking point counts for Nelly and Jin Young. And those points are all based on where you finish. So 3 bogeys in 5 holes is not helping Nelly.
We've been told that Jin Young can't move to #1 even with a victory, no matter what Nelly does this week. 2 wins for Jin Young Ko in her last 5 starts before this week. Going back to this event, the Volunteers of America Classic, not far from where she now lives in the U.S., the Colony, Texas Old American Golf Club had a 1-shot lead when the final round began, and that 2-putt par right before her 26th birthday. Her dad and mom were there. Caddy Dave Brooker's daughter Madeline was there on site, cheering her on. That was her 8th career victory. Then in Portland, a week that was shortened from 72 to 54 holes, celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Cambia Portland Classic. I think Jerry total up, she had 4 putts to win there at 18. She took 1. And a 4-shot victory for Jin Young Ko. Really tailed off after that, a 6th at the Walmart Northwest Arkansas Championship. And then last week, she did have a share of the lead with NB Park. Celine Boutier shot 63. Came from behind to win by 1. She's never had the outright lead going into the final round and not won.
It's just incredible how comfortable she is in that position. And hasn't seemed phased all day or all week since taking the lead after round 1.
Makes me want to do a recount of Evian to see if for sure she finished tied for 60th. That doesn't seem possible.
She's comfortable in this position, but nobody's comfortable in these conditions.
Yeah, keep right to left. This will be good now. Nice ball of the week.
200 yards exactly to the hole. This is her 3 hybrid.
Jerry, looks like you got the umbrella out there too.
Took a while. I'm a slow learner.
Seen a lot of players come up short here. I mean, the miss is short. You do not want to be beyond the hole.
This should be plenty of club unless it just splats when it hits, and the line is ideal.
Another smart play. Have a little bit of puddling in her way. Might need to bring the squeegee out. I would assume the crew is following these last couple of groups as they finish.
They are on it.
Can you squeegee the green if the ball's not on the green?
Yes.
Okay. Zoko.
5-iron, and that just fanned a little bit. That's right bunker if it gets to it.
Poor shot there. This is a costly time
That'll really short-sided there with the way this green slopes as well.
Obviously, every shot counts from the word go, but right now it's getting down towards the wire, and there's a lot of money on the line for the likes of Zoko and Weaver. Sasso now.
That's a 4-iron, and she has hit so many good shots this backside. A little right of the hole.
And it's going to stop pretty dead. Might come back a little bit. Okay, though. Well, it's a shame that it's been such a wet finish to this week here at the LPGA Founders Cup. It's not going to dampen the spirits of Jin Young Ko, though. 5 ahead and cruising to victory. Been 2.5 years since somebody lifted that trophy, and that someone was Jin Young Ko. She's looking to do it again here on the other side of the country. This is Elizabeth Zoko, her third. Oh, no!
That was such a brutally difficult shot from that angle, and the flagstick was really the only thing that could keep the ball close to the hole.
Wow, it was from our angle, it looked like it was going to drop. It was right in the middle. It was just going too quickly. Yeah, it tried.
I think she'll take that one.
Absolutely.
From that location. Wow.
Take a 4. She's trying to break out of that tie at 10 under. It's a, it's a big difference. They're going to get the squeegees out here and just make sure the playing conditions are fair.
It's kind of wild with that squeegee. You look at the ground, you don't see the water. I'm not that far away. And when he pushes it, it brings up enough to make a cup of tea with, Tom.
Ah, very good. I'm not a tea drinker, believe it or not.
Makes 2 of us.
Yeah, I'd never like the taste of it.
They have a tea house up here by the green.
TEA.
I think it's actually TEA.
Oh, is it? It is?
We've been trying to confirm.
I thought it was TEE.
The things you discuss with a 5-shot lead.
The internet that comes up on my computer is TEA. That's what. Now, Jin Young Ko.
Very slow, straight up the hill. Probably going to bounce a little early. It didn't. It's not exactly what she wanted.
Third shot at the 18th for Caroline Masson.
All important to control your spin around this whole location. Gonna stay on the top shelf. Yes. See all the water puddling right around that hole. Right side of the green.
More puddling here.
Now Sasso.
Big bender from right side. I don't think you can miss this putt high without powering it through the break. No matter what, I believe it's going to end up left of the hole on her direct line to the hole.
Sure, it's one of those, the higher you play it, the more it breaks.
Yeah, you could play this at the bunker, and it would still be left of the hole.
Well, it was left of the hole, but not by much. That was an excellent effort.
The Connor Moore Show is giving it another go with an all-new season filled with more laughs, more fun, and more. Watch now exclusively on Golf Pass.
Jin Young Ko just trying to avoid making a bogey on this final day.
Yeah, she, well, 5-shot lead is not going to matter in the big picture, is it? But she would love, all things considered, to have left this the same distance short of the hole, because this one's downhill, and a bit of a bender from the right. Not much, but a bender from the left.
They first played the Cognizant Founders Cup back in 2011. Played it at the Wildfire Golf Club, Desert Ridge. And there was one year where we had terrible weather on a Sunday. I think it snowed, didn't it? Do you remember that?
We had a hailstorm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that covered the greens.
Oh, shame. So you would think that the weather in Phoenix would be a lot better than it is here, but there was one year where it was really horrible. Take a look at the most wins by players from the Republic of Korea. Jin Young Ko, Na Yeon Choi have 9 wins, so a couple behind Jie Shin, the great Jie Shin, who has gone back to Japan to play. Se-ri Park, really the player that inspired this generation. I think now the newer players on tour from Korea may be just outside of that window, but you look at Se-young Kim and In-bi Park and those that have come before her, really inspired by Se-ri. Big hole coming up for Zoko. So her career earnings just over $500,000. If she breaks out of a tie right now for third, she's going to earn an extra 50 grand, so 10% of her career earnings.
Lexi Thompson at the 18th for birdie.
Well, and Lexi was a victim of not being able to control your speed. As Morgan was saying, to this whole location, landed it close to the flag and it spun all the way back to there.
17.
Yep, good 2-putt there. We won't get this at the CME Group Tour Championship. That'll be beautiful down there as we finish up this season. It's always a great week. Terry Duffy, Executive Chairman, President of the CME Group, hosting us and putting on a big show with a big first prize. Just a bogey there, but no problem. 4-shot lead, and she can enjoy that walk up the 18th.
Caroline Masson to tie her career low and get within 3.
Little bit of a break to it, to the right. Wow, that slowed down quick.
I mean, it almost went backwards at the hole.
Defying gravity.
It's a solo second. Next closest is 10 under, besides Jin Young and Caroline Masson.
Yeah, it's a staggering leaderboard. I mean, Jin Young having a 4-shot lead, but then Caroline having a 4-shot lead over third place. It just shows how tough the golf course has played this week.
Lexi for par. She's going to make it to the CME Group Tour Championship. She's one of only a handful who have done that every year since it started back in 2011. Nelly leads the race to the CME Globe. They changed it a couple of years ago. You win that tournament and you are declared the winner of the race to the CME Globe. And as we saw, Jin Young Ko got in number 45 on the points list last year, having not played very many events, and won it. Lexi is a Globe champ of years past. Half day for Maria Fassi. She shot 74, and she'll only move up 4 spots in the race to the CME Globe. Time for 25th for Maria. Now Nelly with the green cleared.
Skill.
back on the tee after her first bogey of the day. Jin Young Ko waiting to tee off. It's incredible to think about the season she's had, because Jin Young has battled a wrist injury, a thumb injury, and yet still played at a very high level, especially the second half of the season. Zoko on the tee.
Watched it for a minute up the right.
There's a Wahoo Wah, yeah.
That's a new one.
University of Virginia Cavalier.
Ah, gotcha.
I think she liked that one.
Still got the Woo Pig Sui in my head from a couple weeks ago.
Yuka's the age of a college junior and number 7 in the world.
I think it worked out all right for her.
I think.
Yeah. What a golf swing. I know we haven't shown them all because she hasn't been part of the storyline for the lead on this backside, but she has hit so many just awesome golf shots. And of course, I might have jinxed her.
I probably won't be able to get to the green from there. It looked like it nestled down.
It popped just out of the long cut into the first cut, but nestled down into that.
Jin Young 5 under. Morgan, she said she really isn't thinking about that streak. She would tie Annika Sorenstam, tie So-Yeon Yu for the longest in LPGA history. But what does it say to you, and what does it mean?
It shows what an incredible ball striker and putter she is. She's got the complete package, and she has shown incredible consistency.
She hasn't missed a fairway this side until now.
But yeah, her consistency is just remarkable. Similar to that of Annika's. And of course, So-Yeon Yu had a stretch in her career where she was about as consistent as anybody has ever been.
Right on cue. Yu, 3rd at the 18th.
See if she can control the spin here. One hop it up to the top. Oh, it's just, the whole location on 18 today is barely over that slope in the middle of the green, and it's just a very severe hole to hit a wedge into. Almost better off sending it all the way down there.
Lindsay Weaver went over the green. She's in that big tie for 3rd place. Jin Young Ko making her way up the 18th, up by 4. Here's little Sophia. She's part of the LPGA USGA Girls Golf and First Tee Jersey Shore chapter, making her way up here to West Caldwell, tending the flag of the 18th. How great is this?
Taking it very seriously.
As, yes, she should. So-Yeon Yu for birdie at the 18th. Go ahead. Right of the fairway. It'll be a layup for Jin Young Ko. Think she can afford it?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by the play, though. I thought she just might hit a 8 or 9 iron out here short of the bunker left and leave herself a wedge or 9 iron in. Because trying to get it past that bunker means you have to take it over. I don't know if this lie's good enough to do it. Just barely.
She's going to win by more than just barely. 4-shot lead as it was when the round began. So a par putt for Lindsay Weaver. We said all week, you go over the 18th and you're in trouble. But a really good week for Lindsay. She's got that for a bogey. It'll drop her into a tie for 6th. That will get her into the next full field event of the season, which is the last full field event of the season, the Pelican Women's Championship. She's not going to move into the top 60, but getting into the Pelican will give her a shot at making the CME Group Tour Championship.
She came into this week on Thursday after a round expecting this to be her final tournament of the year. Sometimes that, just gives you a little bit of freedom. It takes a little bit of pressure in general. She wasn't even thinking that she would qualify for next week and then potentially for the CME Group Tour Championship.
Okay, a bogey. Back to 9 under, tied for 6th. A couple of weeks off, or a week off of the LPGA Tour, then off to Korea. A couple of weeks off, and then that Pelican Women's Championship will be the week before the CME Group Tour Championship. So Weaver is projected to go from 84th to 73rd. Top 80 are fully exempt next year. Nelly finishing up. Ooh. Well, never could quite get a feel for the greens here. 73 today. .35 putts today. 30. That ties the most she's had all year in a single round. 34 in round 2 for one of the very best putters in the LPGA Tour and the #1 player in the world. Former #1 So Yeon. She'll be there at CME Group Tour Championship. Yuka's been waiting.
She has, like I mentioned, ball popped out of the heavy rough into the first cut. Not a great lie, but not terrible. 208 front, 223 hole. Into the wind up that slope. Takes a big pop from here. Maybe a little flyer. That's not a flyer.
Yeah, it's not a bad leave, Jerry, but it came out really heavy.
Yeah.
It will be fun to watch Yuka Saso. She starts playing full-time over here, as she's done this summer. Good weekend for Elizabeth Zoko.
She could get it there from the fairway. She gave it everything she had. Still not enough. Good leave, though.
65 yesterday, the low round of the day for Zoko. 1 under today. One more full swing for Jin Young Ko in a week in which she has hit so many brilliant ones. You just don't see very often a player go out in the first wave on Thursday, day 1, shoot a number that is never caught. She has never been tied since she took the lead Thursday morning.
I carried number 8 and 3, so it was wrong.
And really, that's a testament to what an amazing round that was on Thursday. It's 63 on a golf course where we didn't think we'd see that kind of a number.
No, absolutely not. She's just continued to put pressure on the rest of the field, said, come and get me. And I mean, Caroline Masson 7 under. I didn't see that out here in these conditions today either. But I mean, Jin Young didn't even phase her.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say she never looked in her rearview mirror.
No, I don't think her car has one. 97 yards with a gap, which has to be careful this doesn't spin too much.
Here it comes. Well, again, she can afford it. She can afford a lot of things these days because she's about to go over $7 million in career earnings in this, her 78th start. She is averaging $93,000 every time she tees it up. Today's coverage is brought to you by Cognizant, a global technology services leader. By CME Group, how the world advances. And by Win Grips, the best grips in golf. Just a moment ago, third shot for Yuka Saso at the 18th.
See if she can work her typical short game magic from here. Oh, of course.
How high do you think the ceiling is for Yuka Saso?
Beyond. She's got a fabulous golf swing, as we've seen many times. She's got really high, towering ball flight. It'll be fun to watch her.
Third for Zoko.
Different technique. Great result.
How about that?
Jerry, that we've seen players all day struggle to control the spin. Being able to chip from that close makes it so much easier.
It's going to be solo third once she taps that in. It'd be the same amount of race to the CME Globe points, but solo third is a huge difference in terms of cash. Which for a third-year player is always nice. It's for anyone. Birdie putt here for Jin Young. He's going to tie Annika Sorenstam and So-Yeon Yu for the all-time LPGA record for most consecutive rounds in the 60s. Agent Soo-Jin, her father, is here watching. He's been with her for all of her wins this year, including on his birthday week. They're the Volunteers of America Classic. Well, she had 4 putts to win in Portland, Jerry. Have you done the math here?
She can make triple and win. So fighting for 3, 4, 5 putts.
5 putts. Okay. She even knows how to let the stage clear. Have the spotlight shine directly on her. She'll wait.
As it should, with the performance that she's put together this week. Beyond impressive.
Yuka here.
That's her 4th one of those in the last 10 holes. That's just seemingly unfair.
A year ago, she was outside the top 250 in the world rankings. Had a great year on the Japan LPGA Tour, which was her home tour. Now she's in the top 10. She's a U.S. Women's Open champion. She's a member of the LPGA Tour. The sky's the limit. Now Zoko. Putt for sole possession of third.
Great week for Zoko, career best. Second happened earlier this year, tied for second at Marathon. And like her coach told me earlier today, it feels like she belongs in this position. Tons of talent.
Just her 3rd season on the LPGA Tour. Coming of age. Just a few feet left. Cap off the 4th wire-to-wire victory on the 2021 PGA calendar this year. No ties. Have another cup. Jin Young Ko wins the Founders. Back, and she wins for the 10th time on the LPGA Tour. As if she wasn't win enough.